It's just having knowledge gaps of kind of saying, I know what I want to do, but I don't know how to get there. And the way I like to illustrate it is, it's like as a marketer, you come and you draw a beautiful picture of a beautiful house, there's just this great house. And then you go to IT and say, hey, IT, build this based on this picture. And it's just like what you've envisioned makes perfect sense, but there's so many steps and things that need to happen before IT, the contractor, can take that and say, okay, I can build this, right? There's that whole architectural piece that needs to happen in between that says, I need to break this down into a blueprint that now a contractor can understand and say, okay, I know what to build. I understand the specs of what's needed here. There's just so much interpretation between the picture and what ends up getting built, and that gray area, that gap is, I find, where most of the pain usually is. And that comes down to people. It's just people not having the expertise, whether it's internal resources, having the right agency partners, whatever combination of that. It's just that gap. There's some places to fill the gap. IT will give you the business analyst, right? And that person will say, hey, I'm going to work with you and document these requirements. But that still requires, kind of what we talked about earlier, it still requires some technical knowledge on the marketing side to be able to effectively communicate with IT and say, okay, this is how that translates into these proper requirements. Because right now, marketing is speaking Spanish and IT is speaking Sanskrit, and they're just not, they're not communicating with each other. And you've probably seen it. I mean, you see hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions of dollars spent with nothing to show for it because there weren't good requirements to dictate what needed to be built and how it needed to work.